This episode of Destructoid is brought to you by Netflix. Coming up on Destructoid, XCOM, Enemy Unknown, and Dishonored reviews are go. The holiday gaming season of 2012 has begun right now on Destructoid.
Welcome to Destructoid. I'm Tara Long.
And I'm Max Scoville.
Happy Monday, Max.
Happy Monday, Tara.
And happy Monday to you, mysterious guest.
You'll never find out who I am.
Shh. Back in your cage.
Stop talking to Anthony.
So yeah, we've got a guest today. He'll be coming on in the second half. Spoiler alert, it's Anthony Carboni.
No, I'm not.
He's going to be coming on to talk about his Dishonored review, which you did this week. Stop talking. And you also reviewed XCOM Enemy Unknown, which is very exciting. Two excellent games, which we'll be talking about more in just a minute. But first, why don't we get into some real news? I've got something that may come as a bit of a shock to you people. Rayman Legends has been delayed for the Wii U. I know.
Moment of silence,
Yes.
please.
This was originally slated to be a launch title for the European release of the Wii U on November 30th, followed by a nebulous launch window release sometime in North America. But now both of those dates have been pushed back, and the game will see a worldwide release sometime in Q1 2013. Now, some people are speculating that this might be part of Ubisoft's attempt to push a multi-platform release, and to those people I say, that's cute. That's really cute. You see, Rayman Legends was probably my favorite game of E3. The art style is classic Rayman with a somehow even more vibrant color scheme. The music is fantastic, the controls work really well, and the level design makes it seem like the Wii U was created specifically for this game. The problem is that the demo I played at E3 is just that, a demo. Those usually come with some kind of disclaimer saying that it's intended as a purely internal demonstrative video and in no way represents the final game, the final console, or its features. But based on what the developer who was demoing the game told me, it sounded like they didn't even have an idea of what the full game would be like, much less that it would be ready in time for the Wii U's launch. So you can imagine my surprise then to find out that Rayman Legends would release not only in the window of the Wii U's North American launch, but that it would hit Europe day one. Now, for a game that was so early on in concept just 4 short months ago, it seems almost impossible that Ubisoft could have ever seriously expected it to be ready by November. And not to sound like a cynical Susie, but this does bring up the question of how many Wii U launch titles will actually be hitting the Wii U at launch versus how many were simply promised to us to make the console seem more desirable. Food for thought.
I don't know. I think Nintendo's staying a few steps ahead of the game by having their launch window actually be 6 months.
Yeah,
that's half a year.
That's a pretty big window, actually.
That's like a launch garage door.
Yeah, seriously.
That's pretty cool.
I was going to make that joke, but I couldn't think of that word.
You could park your car in there.
Good job.
Now, for those of you who bother to remember things that have happened in the past, you might recall that the big, dirty, nasty controversy of last week was the release of Resident Evil 6 and how it allegedly sucked. Now, whether or not it actually sucked is open to debate in our comments below. Try and play nice, but regardless, we've got something new to discuss about the game, whether or not it has on-disc DLC. Now, burrowing through the Resident Evil 6 disc's many digital computer files and cyber code, some clever young individuals have come across hidden extras, including costumes, melee attacks, taunts, and a portion of an extra difficulty mode. This is following Capcom's pledge last May to reassess their DLC policy after negative fan feedback over, being charged to unlock content that came with a game that they already paid for. Capcom responded to the apparent RE6 on-disc DLC by stating that virtually all upcoming DLC will not be on disc, but that, for technical reasons, requires the use of a combination of newly downloaded data and data that is included on the retail disc. So, well, at least Capcom is sort of trying to be better about on-disc DLC, I think, at least. We have to sort of wait and see maybe what they're doing there. The DL in DLC is downloadable, which is that means it doesn't come on a disc, just if there's any confusion there. So,
yeah.
Right, I don't know.
Kind of a weird situation there. Capcom has been getting in lots of hot water lately for things like that. Anyway, moving on. If you guys have visited our Rev3 Games channel lately, then you might have seen a video that we did with Mr. Carboni over here about a game called Artemis, which is a 3 to 6 person Starship Bridge simulator where each player represents a character from the Starship Enterprise and performs duties related to that character depending on what scenario the game throws at you. It's an awesome concept and from what I've heard, really, really fun. The only thing that's held me back from actually playing it is the fact that that you need one Windows computer for each player, which may as well be impossible to find in San Francisco. And you also need one huge screen, either a television or a big projector that everybody can see. So it's kind of a logistical nightmare, basically, but on the bright side, those days will soon be over. Penny Arcade's Ben Kuchera is reporting today that Artemis is currently being ported over to iOS devices and should be releasing in about a month. Max Gaming has apparently been working on the port alongside the creator Thomas Robertson, and together they've managed to almost exactly replicate the game's original UI on the iPad, while the iPhone version will be getting a revamped UI where players can swipe to either side with 2 fingers to switch between command centers. Also cool is the fact that it'll now be cross-platform, so you'll be able to play with up to 6 people on PC or iOS or any combination of the two, so maybe you have 4 people with iPads and nobody with a PC, that's perfectly fine. The PC version currently costs $40, and that includes 6 licenses for up to 6 players. But the iOS app will charge a little bit differently. It'll be by person instead, so it'll probably charge around $6 to $7 per player. And according to Robertson, there might be an Android version in the works as well after the iOS app gets finished. So get excited, fellow Trekkies. This is super exciting. I've been wanting to play this game forever.
I'm actually pretty
and
curious
I
about
don't
it.
own a PC except for on boot camp, and it's like, why bother?
Yeah, that's complicated. I think it'd be cool just also because there's the kind of portability thing now. You could turn like your treehouse into a spaceship or a car. Who knows?
So many possibilities.
So as you guys probably know, there's a certain tactical turn-based strategy game coming out this week that is aiming to revitalize a beloved PC franchise and please a hardcore fan base. That's right. I'm talking about Worms Revolution. Unfortunately, I didn't get to play Worms Revolution because I was reviewing XCOM Enemy Unknown over on the Rev3 Games channel, but that's okay because that is also everything I just said about tactical and turn-based and hardcore franchise, all that. So where to start? Basically, XCOM is really good, and I hate tactical turn-based strategery games because I'm dumb and impatient. However, XCOM sucked me right in. I think the bottom line for XCOM is that it's really fun. I know that at a glance it doesn't really look fun, but once you get into it, you will get hooked. And if you haven't been paying close enough attention, it might just look like a game where you make little guys run around on a map, but it's actually a lot more than that. As commander of XCOM, you are in charge of running everything at your base, from like building facilities and gear to trying to keep a lid on global panic so that countries funding XCOM don't back out. I know that sounds dumb and boring and like micromanagement, but it actually is part of what gets you hooked. You can play the game for 30 hours and still lose, which is kind of unheard of nowadays, but it makes the gameplay on a totally different scale. It's like you feel like you're actually trying to save the world and stuff. Also, your squad members are all completely customizable, so you can make everyone look like your friends, which incorporates a nice bit of role-playing, which I thought was very cool in kind of a traditional sense. I made people who were named after my friends.
Major Sanchez.
Yeah, I don't actually know anyone named Juan Carlos Sanchez. That was just the character customization. Now, anyone concerned about replay value will be happy to know that there are around 80 maps, so you're probably not going to see all of them in a single playthrough. There are multiple difficulty levels, as well as multiplayer, which is fun, though not the most complex or balanced edition. The controls of menus have been extremely well streamlined for controller navigation, and it is a difficult game, and there is a learning curve, but you'll be fine if you pay attention and read the fine print. And by fine, I mean a lot of your people will die, because it is still difficult, but it is also a lot of fun. Probably my biggest complaint is a handful of graphical glitches, which didn't break the game, but did cause me to screw up a few times because I was running to the wrong location, which was silly. Also, one of the guys showed up sideways at one point, which was very goofy. XCOM is getting high marks across the board, earning a 9 out of 10 from Destructoid's Alistair Pinsoff. He's got a few more nitpicks about it than I do, but he obviously likes it because he gave it a 9. You should probably go read that review because words are good for your brain, and also check out mine over on Rev3 Games. I gave it a best of 2012, which is like our 5 out of 5, and I think the general consensus is that it's a really good game, and it's not the only good game that came out this week. We're actually going to take a word from our sponsor, but when we get back, we're going to talk about another one. Another game.
Yes. Speaking of games, with all the games due out this fall, and hell, even this week, you're probably wondering how you're going to be able to afford them all. Well, my friends, when you spend money in one place, you've got to save in another, and that is where Netflix comes in. With Netflix, there's no need for an expensive cable bill because they'll stream all the TV episodes and movies you want to watch directly to your home for less than the price of actually going to the movies. Watch at home on your PC or Mac, on your TV, if you've got a game console, even on the go with any Netflix-enabled device. For a limited time, Netflix is offering all Destructoid viewers their own free trial membership. Just visit netflix.com/Destructoid and sign up. And don't forget that Netflix is also available in the UK and Ireland now. You guys over there can get in on this deal as well. Just check out netflix.co.uk/Destructoid if you're in the UK, or netflix.ie/Destructoid if you're in Ireland. Movies, just as fun as video games.
I think they're a lot easier than video games, but that's just me. Anyway, XCOM isn't the only huge game that came out this week. Dishonored also comes out tomorrow as well, and it's been getting some rave reviews. Jim reviewed it over on Destructoid and gave it a 9 out of 10, and our good buddy Anthony Carboni reviewed it over on Rev3 Games and gave it another Best of 2012 rating, which is, like I said, a 5 out of 5. And since Anthony works in the same office as us and Jim lives in Mississippi, we asked Anthony to come on the show and tell us about it. Anthony, arise.
Hi.
That's an entrance.
Don't
Yeah,
destroy
I did
our set,
that.
please.
How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm okay. How's Dishonored?
Dishonored is awesome. Dishonored is completely, unbelievably, amazingly great.
Tell us about it. What's so great?
Oh gosh, where do I even start? Well, first of all, if you've seen any of the video for this thing or any previews, the world design of Dishonored is like unbelievably good. I mean, so many people are just like, this is, oh, it looks like steampunky or it looks BioShocky, but it's like got its own thing going on for sure.
I haven't even played the game yet, and I am freaking in love with the world.
It's so weird. There's like there is technology, but everything is like powered by whale oil, and it looks like V for Vendetta, and it's so cool. And the character designs are unbelievable too. There's like that semi-realistic, semi-cartoony thing going on with like exaggerated features, but it's all extremely well animated. It looks gorgeous. It's got kind of that. It's got kind of like a painterly look, like almost like what Skyward Sword was going for, but this pulls it off like 100 times better.
And it's dark.
It's
Very
really dark.
Also,
It's
which I
What
like.
about the gameplay?
Gameplay is awesome. It's predominantly, so you're supposed to be able to play through it in whatever style you want, and you definitely can, but it highly rewards and leans towards stealth. Kind of like stealth as in the Thief series stealth.
If you go through just kind of guns blazing, you said it ups the world's chaos, right?
Yeah. So
is that what you're kind of talking about?
Yeah, exactly. So I played it a bit, and then Zach played it as well. Zach is very stealthy. He's a stealthy guy. He's
likes
good
the
at
stealth
these
games.
games. I am terrible at stealth. I am the worst at it. So I played through very much like all action, combat, and powers. And when the chaos level rises, like the whole deal is the world is got this massive plague going on. So, and like all these rats are spreading the disease, and the more you actually kill people in public, the more the chaos level goes up, and the plague gets worse. So there are more plague victims running around on the street. There are like more crowds of rats running around. So it actually becomes harder to make your way through without stealth. If
Okay.
you play without stealth.
So you
which
can
is
play
kinda,
an aggressive style. It'll just screw you later on,
yeah,
basically.
oh, yes, 100%. I mean, but it's still fun to play, and there's still a lot of action stuff that you can do. Like, you're not entirely screwed the way you would be in any other stealth game. Like, I had you get like a lot of cool powers. So in addition to like all your gadgets, like you've got a crossbow that has a ton of different bolts. You have these like razor traps, these spring razors that are like little kind of mine bombs that you can put down. But then you have like all these magic powers. You have things like Blink, which is like a minor teleport. So it's like a line of sight teleport in a limited range. You can possess people. You can summon just a herd of rats to devour people.
That's gross.
It's awesome. And then you can like use them in tandem with one another. So you get a power that lets you freeze time. Somebody can shoot at you, you freeze time, you possess them, you put them in the way of their own bullet, you unfreeze time, and you watch them shoot themselves.
Is there anything bad about it?
So, yeah, so like I said, it kind of says that it wants you to play through in any style you want, but it definitely rewards stealth a lot more. So I didn't go in expecting that as much. And then I would say the other thing that kind of bugged me is, as beautiful as the world is, the textures fall apart quite a bit up close. Like, I would have liked those to be a little better.
What were you playing on?
I was playing on the 360, but we do have a PC and console comparison up on Rev3 Games, and there's not a lot of difference between PC and console.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Other than field of view and control scheme. Yeah.
So even with all the different ways to play and the things going on in the game, is it still easy to pick up? Is it something that you're going to really get the hang of quickly?
For sure. Like I said, I am terrible at stealth, and yeah, I did fail a couple missions a couple times, but once you start to like wrap your head around it, it's a really well-made stealth game. A lot of stealth games make me second guess myself in terms of things like AI or level design. I'm like, well, How do I know they can see me? How don't I, like, am I in plain view now? You know, that kind of thing. And if you're not into the stealth genre, that stuff can be kind of hard for you. But this was really good. It was really clear in how it laid all that out.
Good. Well, you gave it a best of, right?
Best of!
Best of.
Better than XCOM. I don't know that. I didn't play XCOM.
Awesome. I'm so excited. I will be borrowing your copy tonight and playing it for myself.
Please do.
Thank you, Anthony. You guys can watch Anthony's full review over on youtube.com/rev3games. And again, we've got a couple other Dishonored videos up there. We've got the PC versus console comparison.
Yeah, we're also going to do a playstyle comparison as well, so you can see what I'm talking about, where you can just run through and combat, and then we'll also compare that same level as a stealth level.
See, don't say we never did anything for you guys.
Oh, that's fun.
Anthony, get off our set.
Get out of here.
Thank you.
Take your
That
chair
is
and
about
go.
all the time we. Oh God, that is about all the time we have for today's show. You guys can follow us on Twitter. I am Tara Longest. He is Max Scoville, and I guess this guy over here is Anthony Carboni.
Get off the
they
set.
can't see you. And of course, the show's on there, Detoid Show. Also, we're posting all of our videos that we've done this week, so you won't want to miss any of them. Anything else? Gosh, what a busy episode.
It's open season. The games are starting to come out, and we get to go out and hunt them with our rifles.
Yeah, go buy
and
those
review
games
them
we
with
just
our
talked
scores.
about.
Yeah.
We'll
See
see
you guys later.
back here on Wednesday.